During the demolition, this worker sees an unbelievable scene inside the wall. At first, he thinks his eyes are playing tricks on him. But as he continues to smash the wall, he is still shocked by the sight. A woman's corpse is suddenly revealed, hidden inside the wall. The corpse has fresh red blood and smooth skin, looking like she just died. But judging by how dry the cement is, it has been at least 3 to 5 months. When exactly was she killed, and who hid her inside the building? At this time, the demolition worker looks strange as he drinks alcohol and watches the news. He seems to have gone crazy, often hearing a woman screaming in his ears. Then, he even rushes downstairs with a cleaver and mindlessly slashes at the crowd. As the scene cuts, within 24 hours of discovering the corpse, this demolition worker mysteriously hangs himself and dies. It is now a certain morning in 1998. The demolition management invites a shaman to pray to ensure the project can be completed smoothly. Because back in 1990, a brutal murder happened in this building. The usually kind caretaker, possessed by who knows what evil, takes a shovel and eliminates the nearest resident on the 3rd floor. After doing all this, the caretaker himself also mysteriously dies, covered in blood. After that, people moving in here either drink pesticides or jump from the balcony, dying without any warning. Nasty rumors cause the apartment building to become completely deserted from this moment on. Believing that the place is definitely haunted, they bring in a shaman to perform an exorcism. The shaman senses it too, claiming an earthbound spirit is causing trouble and its malice has already consumed the entire building. Sweating profusely, she slices her palm with a razor to spray her unique shaman blood. But in an instant, something in the air bounces the blood right back at her. The shaman herself is dragged into an alternate dimension filled with pitch darkness and endless wailing. Feeling anxious, she approaches a desk and spots the caretaker's name on a tenant register. She wants to tear out the tenant information from that floor. Only by knowing the spirit's name can she use a ritual dagger to bring peace to the building. But the evil spirit that dragged her into the dark won't allow it, and suddenly, dozens of black hands crawl all over her body. One of the hands forces the blade around, aiming it right at the shaman's throat. Knowing she is doomed, she reaches for the tenant list anyway, so someone else can finish her mission. Then, her blood splatters everywhere on the spot in broad daylight. This causes her terrified attendants to scatter and flee. By the time the shaman's son, Dojin, arrives, he is stopped coldly by the police station. He can only stare at his mother's body from afar. Time flies, and we fast forward 4 years later to the year 2002. Dojin has the same nightmare every single day, living in constant terror. He wants to fulfill his mother's last wish and take revenge on the evil spirits inside that building. Finally, as New Year's Eve approaches, Dojin gets his hands on the list of the deceased that his mother risked her life to bring back. He wants to sneak into the building to eliminate those earthbound spirits, but it has to be before midnight on New Year's Eve. Legend has it that the gates of hell open wide, and a blood moon rises above the apartment building, opening a path connecting the living and the dead. But before leaving, the photo album Dojin placed on the cabinet drops without any warning. He knows this is his mother trying to stop him, not wanting him to get involved in this mess. But the shaman blood runs through Dojin's veins. Even though his skills are lacking, as a son, how could he not want to prove that he is just as good as his parents? After driving for several hours, Dojin arrives near the apartment at 11:30. Before going in, he first draws a talisman on the main gate to prevent the earthbound spirits inside from escaping. At the same time, no spirit can take a single step out of the building. Maybe because it has been vacant for so long, when Dojin arrives on the 3rd floor, which is where the caretaker eliminated the tenants, the temperature here is noticeably lower than on the 1st floor. The walls are also covered in spray-painted characters, indicating there are earthbound spirits and ghosts with multiple personalities. Dojin just shrugs it off as a joke and smiles contemptuously. But right after, at the entrance to the stairs leading to the 3rd floor, he sees a bloody handprint that perfectly matches his own palm. Just then, a strange noise comes from the hallway below. He quickly opens the apartment floor plan and heads straight to the caretaker's office. Hoping to take down the ringleader first, he plans to purify the wicked caretaker first. But right then, a hollow squeaking sound echoes from outside the door as the caretaker, now an evil spirit, returns with a shovel. The intense malice forces Dojin to hide inside a metal locker, carefully watching his surroundings through a crack in the door. Just then, the chair in front of the desk spins around ominously, making it look like the caretaker already discovers Dojin. Fortunately, the caretaker is drawn away by a noise outside the door, carrying his shovel with him. Meanwhile, the story shifts to New Year's Eve in 1996. 3 film students sneak into this apartment building to shoot some bizarre footage just to win a major award. They start by spraying graffiti on the 2nd floor walls while pulling pranks to scare each other, not taking the building's dark history seriously at all. Staring at the graffiti about a ghost with multiple personalities, Taehoon feels it looks familiar, like it is not the first time he sees it. As they chat and laugh, the time is already approaching 12. Ha-young is the first to rush to the top floor, looking around for the legendary blood moon. But after a whole introduction, nothing shows up. Terrified of encountering ghosts if the gates of hell actually open, the cowardly Taehoor tries to drag Ha-young back the way they came. Unexpectedly, the cameraman, Won Jae, stops them just in time, speaking in an incredibly shocked tone. When they take turns looking at the screen, they finally realize that the blood moon already rises. It is just that ordinary human eyes cannot see it. The two of them are incredibly excited. On the other hand, the young man wide opens his eyes in shock. He is terrified that searching for the paranormal will cause his own death. Ultimately, because of his cowardice, he is tricked by the ghosts into killing his teammate. After capturing the rare blood moon, the group plans to go downstairs to continue gathering footage. But as soon as they open the door, a chilly wind blows through the airtight building. The scene shifts to the man in the year 2002. Right now, he opens the cabinet door after hiding inside for a long time. Knowing the earthbound spirit is tough to handle after all this time, he takes advantage of the spatial distortion caused by the opening of the Hellgate and travels back to the night of the 1990 murders when the caretaker killed people. At this moment, the earthbound spirit just forms and is easy to destroy. As the surrounding objects gradually refresh, the victim's screams echo outside, mixed with the banging of a shovel. The man knows he cannot change the course of history, so he forces himself to endure it behind the door. After a while, he walks into the hallway and enters the first victim's apartment. As soon as he enters, he sees the person lying there with a pale face. His eyes are open, but his facial features are already turning dark purple. Holding the tenant list, the man reads that this person is a tenant born in 1968. He takes out a ritual dagger from his pocket and promises to set the spirit free. But as soon as the spirit hears the caretaker's name, it begins to convulse with intense resentment. At the same time, a shadow flashes across the bedroom next door. That is the wife of the first victim, who was also murdered. She immediately lunges forward like a zombie, biting anyone she sees. But no matter how ferocious the evil spirit is, it cannot withstand the power of the ritual dagger. The man severely wounds it. Then he chants the evil spirit's name and purifies it once and for all. Meanwhile, back in 1996, the three students come down from the rooftop and pass the third floor trembling. This is the exact floor where the caretaker beat the tenants to death. It is also where rumors of ghost sightings frequently spread. But the female student does not believe any of it. When they reach the second floor, she still finds ways to scare the two boys hiding behind her. At the same time, she demands to know who keeps blowing air on the back of her. The boys say they are completely terrified and in no mood for pranks. But soon, an anomaly in a corner breaks the relaxed atmosphere for the three of them. Even though there is no airflow in the hallway, the wallpaper in front of them is fluttering violently. It looks like someone is blowing on it or messing with it with their hands. Just then, a creepy laugh comes from behind the female student's head. At first, the cameraman tries to argue back. But the next second, the camera captures a terrifying image. Looking at the two who are instantly speechless, the female student snatches the camera with a roar. At the same time, her hair is lifted up by something. And that is exactly a woman with a bloody head from being hit by a shovel. The three of them immediately drop the camera and dash toward the exit like light. When the two boys look back at the female student lagging behind, they finally notice her strange behavior. Unexpectedly, at this critical moment, the female student is still playing scary trick. Meanwhile, the cameraman feels bad about the camera left behind. Saying that this is a rare, limited edition in Korea that cannot be replaced, he stays behind and slowly turns back. Before long, he hears the voices of the female student and the other boy coming from the opposite direction, their tones filled with fear and despair. Knowing they just came down from the second floor, they are very surprised to see the cameraman here. When the boy looks at the room number, he is shocked to find that they are likely trapped in an endless loop. Only now does a feeling of impending doom wash over the three of them. From the direction where the camera just dropped, a pitch-black ghost rushes over with a contorted body. At the same time, the man back in 1990 opens the door and steps out. Due to the spatial distortion, he gets knocked down by the female student who is running away in 1996. By accident, he strikes up a conversation with the 3 college students. Hearing them scream that there is a ghost, the man can only anxiously tell them to hide first. He thinks these people are reckless kids who sneaked in during 2002. He plans to finish his business here first before traveling back. Right after, he enters room 304 next door. To his frustration, there is only a dark human-shaped mark on the bed, and the earthbound spirit is nowhere to be found. Just as the man scratches his head in confusion, a corner of a piece of clothing pulls back inside the closet. Opening the door, he discovers that the girl is hiding right there. The man hands her a milk candy and asks if she is the girl born in 1965, but the girl replies with her name instead, looking both shy and fearful. Upon learning her name, the man takes out the ritual dagger and is about to act, but the lights in the room suddenly go out. The girl also turns into a ghost with a face full of veins and lunges at it. Pitch-black hands crawl all over his body, choking the man's neck, looking exactly like the mother was killed by the evil spirit. The man fights back for his life with bloodshot eyes, finally breaking free with a furious roar. His sheer willpower keeps him from collapsing here for now. At the same time, the man notices a crumpled piece of paper under the bed, which is a missing person notice. The person they are looking for is exactly the little girl from just now. But now, she suddenly vanishes. Filled with wariness, the man steps out of room 304. But no matter how fast he walks, he keeps ending up right back where he started. To make matters worse, he gets caught red-handed by the janitor. The entity is pitch black, breathing heavily. Dojin knows he is no match for it, and since the exit to the stairs is locked, he is driven into a complete dead end. Next, the janitor unleashes critical attacks, aiming directly for Dojin's vital spots with every strike. He pulls out his ritual dagger to fight back head-on, but he cannot even get close to it. In the end, he can only watch helplessly as the shovel slams down on him. This blow leaves Dojin completely disoriented and barely able to stand up. In a state of panic, a person's mind usually goes completely blank. Dojin gives up resisting, but the familiar sound of a bell echoes in his mind. He knows all too well that this is his mother. By the time Dojin opens his eyes, the caretaker already disappears, and his deceased mother saves his life once. Just then, Mirin from earlier suddenly appears and stops Dojin from going to seek revenge. She warns Dojin not to go any further, and then leads him downstairs toward room 204. It turns out the bloody handprint Dojin sees at the beginning is the one he leaves behind while escaping back in 1990. Once inside the room, Dojin asks if the missing girl is Mirin. However, Mirin says she never goes missing and stays inside this room the entire time. It turns out that on a certain day in 1990, Mirin's father starts getting violent over some trivial matter. Probably because of his own incompetence in the outside world, he takes his anger out on his family, pulling out a belt and whipping them relentlessly. This also causes an evil alternate personality to develop inside Mirin to protect herself. Mirin's sudden change of face panics her father, and he suddenly shoves his daughter down. Mirin snaps her neck, leaving her fate unknown. Fearing severe legal punishment, he creates the missing person story. The old man quietly bricks his daughter into the wall, burying her on the spot. But as the last brick seals it up, only then does Mirin show signs of life and start to struggle. She is only in a state of apparent death earlier, but now, suffocated by a plastic bag, she is doomed. Since she has 2 personalities when she is alive, this trait is fully inherited after her death. Her resentment grows deeper day by day. All along, the casualties in the building and the caretaker's killing spree are caused single-handedly by the evil Mirin. Now Dojin finally figures out the truth behind all this. He promises to help Mirin find peace and leave this place, on the condition that he knows the name of her evil personality. Mirin hesitantly mumbles the first 2 words, but sensing danger, her body is gradually taken over by the other person. Following Dojin's impatient shout, the evil ghost personality finally takes over. It instantly blasts away Dojin, who is holding the ritual dagger. Knowing the situation is complicated, Dojin has no choice but to escape through the Hellgate first. He tries to return to the world of 2002 to regroup, but unexpectedly, he finds himself still trapped inside the Hellgate. Meanwhile, back in the 1996 timeline, Hye-young and her 2 friends rule wildly through the building after discovering the evil spirit. But they soon realize they are just running in circles, repeatedly ending up right back where they started. Even when they see the talisman Dojin drew on the wall in 2002, they still don't realize they are actually already dead, and it is only their powerful will to live that keeps them trapped in this endless loop of running away. Taehoon suggests going back to the rooftop to look around, or even jumping off, since anything is better than staying here. Just as they are about to leave, that familiar metallic scraping sound echoes again, meaning the janitor already finds his way over with his shovel. Although the three of them take the chance to run down to the second floor, the door to room 204, the exact room where Miran died unjustly, suddenly swings open along the way. Looking inside, Hae-young instantly covers her mouth as if she sees something, and then she walks straight in like a zombie. Taehoon rushes over, but the door refuses to budge, forcing him to yell anxiously for Won-jae nearby. As for Won-jae, he notices something strange on the ceiling, and after a few drops of black blood land on his face, he is completely obliterated and absorbed into a giant glob of mysterious liquid. Meanwhile, inside the room, Hae-young doesn't realize yet that she already stepped right into the boss's lair. As she looks around in confusion, the bricked-up wall is slowly punctured open from the inside. Inside is precisely the girl's evil personality. It grabs the female student, threatens her with a knife, and whispers something in her ear. She screams in terror, but the next second, the man, who just traveled back from room 204 in 1990, appears just in time. He instinctively mistakes the female student for an earthbound spirit, asks for her birth year and name, and then raises his ritual dagger to perform a purification. Midway through, he is struck with a club and driven away by the boy who rushes over. And at this time, the black blood flowing from the boy's face is completely different from the blood on the man's face. Finally, the female student recognizes that this older guy is the same one who spoke to them across time before. After a brief conversation, the man mistakes the female student and her friends for college students who snuck in after him. However, before the three of them can go very far, the once open hallway is suddenly blocked solid by a wall. This makes the man doubt whether he really left the Hellgate. A moment later, the hallway they are in unexpectedly turns into a massive open floor, and the steel door leading out is tightly locked. The man and the female student pound on it anxiously, but turn around to find the boy staring blankly ahead. It turns out the cameraman is lying sloppily on the ground, his fate unknown. The man doesn't dare to approach blindly, so he lights a glow stick to investigate. In fact, back when the cameraman went back to get the camera, he is killed by the evil personality who suddenly appeared. The man stops the female student from trying to rescue him, saying this is bait set by the evil spirit. Right after he says this, the cameraman sits up in a bizarre posture. He says he is blind. The child tells him that as long as they find the key, they can leave, and the key is currently right under his butt. The man tells everyone around him to keep quiet, and then throws a metal rod to the side to distract him. But just a second before he can grab the key, the lighter in his pocket falls to the ground. The man immediately starts wrestling with it. Meanwhile, the boy who grabs the key suddenly runs toward the exit with a crazed expression. He goes out alone, trying to lock the other two inside, while muttering that he wants to live. At the critical moment, the man finishes up over there and kicks him away. Meanwhile, as they head down to the first floor, the boy's behavior becomes even more bizarre. He scribbles graffiti on the wall, claiming there is a ghost with multiple personalities as his expression slowly twists. Seeing this, the man feels like he has seen it somewhere before, so he asks the girl what year it currently is. Hearing that it is 1996, the man completely loses his cool and pulls out the ritual dagger again, saying they are already dead. Because in his timeline, it is currently 2002, and they are actually earthbound spirits trapped here after dying during their exploration. Hearing this, the girl screams as she remembers everything while black blood flows from the corners of her eyes. It turns out they are completely played like puppets by the evil ghost girl's lies. Taking advantage of this moment while the girl is frantic, the man rolls down to the first floor on his limping leg and passes out. At this moment, his mother looks at her son and sheds tears, waking the man up instantly. This is because the boy is rushing over again, wielding an iron rod to kill the man. He runs as hard as he can toward the door he came from. But because he was stabbed earlier, and after all this struggle with the boy, he loses too much blood. Fortunately, the girl, who remembers everything now, stabs the ritual dagger into the boy's back. She says she remembers that the boy did the exact same thing back then, killing everyone just to survive. Then, as punishment for failing the mission, the boy is dragged into the darkness by the ghost girl, followed by the sound of a shovel slamming down. But just as the man raises his ritual dagger to help set the girl free, she is suddenly dragged away by the ghost girl. Watching the ghost girl darting around all over the place next to him, the man can only stab blindly in a fit of helpless rage. After venting his anger, he quickly runs to the door he came from and places his hand on it, trying to return to 2002 and completely leave the Hellgate. As a few spells are chanted, his car finally appears outside, proving that he successfully returns by this time. He opens the door and leaves without looking back. But the scene outside the door is still inside the building, as if he is in a mirrored world. Only now does a chill run down his spine, because this talisman is exactly what prevents spirits from stepping out. This finally reminds him, just like he reminded the girl earlier, that perhaps he was already killed by the evil spirit at some point, constantly repeating what he did when he was alive. Just like their obsession with leaving alive, his obsession is to purify the earthbound spirits to fulfill his mother's wish. Therefore, he is caught in a loop of searching for earthbound spirits, becoming an earthbound spirit himself. Only at this moment, when he cannot leave the main gate, is he deeply awakened. It turns out that from the moment he entered the building and saw his own handprint, he was already in the loop. Because from the moment he walked in, he saw a palm print exactly like his own. If he had never been here before, it would be impossible to leave a handprint. So at this point, he is already dead and trapped in the loop. Moved by the handprint left by himself, when he first saw it, he inexplicably put his own hand against it to measure it. At the end of the story, when the man learns the truth and stabs himself with the ritual dagger, the scene cuts back to when he arrives at the apartment to draw the talisman. After doing all this, the man chants a spell and walks into the building, starting the repeating story all over again. And with that, the movie ends.